Okay, so welcome everybody to tonight's webinar. As you can see there on the first slide, we're talking about personal development tonight. And this is one of a series of 8 webinars that I run. So for those of you who are new to the business, or at least new to the webinar, you can see there the first 3 that I do, 1, 2 and 3, are really about the retail side of the business, getting started, building your customer base, that sort of thing. And then 4 and 5 are really about building the residual income, kind of building a team, sharing the opportunity with people and helping your new starters get off to a great start. So that's 4 and 5. And then 6, 7 and 8 are about working on yourself. Once you've learnt the skills of delivering catalogues, posting on Facebook, sharing the opportunity with people, those skills are not difficult to learn, but then a lot of people kind of stumble then in terms of growing their business forward. And 6, 7 and 8 are the things that you need to work on yourself in order to do that. So tonight we're going to start work on number 8 there, which is all about personal development. These are all recorded, so I will explain at the end where the recordings are. So if there's anything I go through this evening that you're not sure of, or you just want to go back over, you can watch the recordings. And equally, as I said, there's 8 of them there. I run one a week, but you don't have to sort of wait till 6 or 7 weeks time to get the, if there's one in particular that you're looking for, you can go straight to the recording. But anyway, I'll come back to that at the end. So what is personal development? There's a description there that I really like, which is personal development is a process of self-education. So it's something you do yourself. It's not where you go to school or anything like that. Where skills and knowledge chosen by you, so you decide what to train on and what to learn. These skills and knowledge are learned in order to improve the quality of your life. So that's mostly why people do personal development. They want to improve the quality of their life. They choose an area that they want to work on, and then they do that learning at their own pace. And that's why it's self-education. So the key things there are, it's not like school where you get told you've got to learn maths, English, history, geography, French, Latin, whatever it might be, because you can actually decide what you want to learn. Once you're a grown up, and that's what personal development is all about. It's about you choosing the areas that you want to work on. So why is it important? Well, in the last module, number 7, we talked about the fact that actually when you join Kleeneze, we all have exactly the same opportunity. But some people will succeed and some won't. And we explained why your attitude is so important to your success in the business. So if you missed last week's, actually it wasn't last week's, was it? Because last week we had some technical problems. The last one that we did, number 7, if you've missed that one and you'd like to go back over that, then as I say, it's all in the recording. But if we agree that your attitude is really important to your success in the business, then how can you make sure that you are one of the ones that succeed? And what I would like to suggest to you is that self-education and a bit of personal development will go a massive way to making sure that you're one of the ones that succeeds. Jim Rohn, who's one of my favourite speakers and authors, said, formal education will make you a living. That's what you get when you're at school. You come out of school, get a job, you can make a living. But self-education will make you a fortune. And I think that's very, very true. If you think once you've left school you can stop learning, then you'll probably stop earning. So just to give you a little bit of a story, when I was at school, I was reasonably okay, I suppose. I got 7 O-levels, some A-levels. I went to university for a year, but I wasn't really mature enough for that, so I kind of dropped out after a first year. And when I was at school, I'd got a couple of O-levels. I got in languages. So one was French. I got a grade B, which was pretty much entirely due to the fact we had a pretty fantastic teacher. And German, I got a grade E, because I just sort of thought, I've got no intention of ever going to Germany. Why do I need to learn German? It just seemed like a waste of time to me. So as a result, I didn't work on it. I didn't kind of think it was important. And I kind of scraped through on a grade E in my German. However, 15 years after I left school, I took my exams again. I'm not sure if they were all levels then, probably GCSEs or something. And I got a grade A in French and a grade A in German. Now you might think, wow, Chris has suddenly developed this fantastic skill for languages, but that's not the case actually. The reason that I took them again is that I wanted to. Basically, what had happened was the company that I worked for, it was actually two separate companies, but one of them got taken over by a French company, and there were some opportunities to go and work in Paris. And I thought, oh, that sounds fantastic. I'd love to go and do that. So I thought, I know, if I go and do an evening class in French and show that I'm, showing a bit of initiative, want to learn the language, that might really stand me in good stead to go and get this job. Now, in fact, I didn't actually get the job, and I changed companies. But the company that I changed to was a German company. It was actually, T-Mobile, the mobile phone company. So they were a company that was based in Germany, and there were some opportunities to go and work in Germany. And at the time, I thought, oh, you know what? I quite fancy doing something like that. So I went to evening class again. I learnt German. I got a grade A again in my exams. And I did go and work in Germany. Actually, it was a really good job with lots of different opportunities there. But because I was learning German, I was kind of, working in a German company over in Germany, and it just gave me those opportunities. So the key point there was, because I wanted to do something, I worked hard at it. And because I worked hard, I got the results. When I was at school, I was only doing it because I was told to do it. Whereas suddenly there was a strong reason why I wanted to learn something. And so I worked hard at it. And that's the whole point of self-education. You choose what you want to do. Now let's bring that back to Kleeneze, because although we are expanding internationally, we might want to all start learning Spanish. But most people join Kleeneze not because they've got a passion for delivering catalogues, but because they want to improve their lifestyle in some way. It might just be a bit of extra money to pay the bills, or it might be saving up for a wedding, or saving up for a holiday, or just wanting to give up a horrible job, or something to improve their lifestyle. So once you've started as a Kleeneze distributor, hopefully you've kind of got in your mind, either if you've just started recently or back in the day when you first joined, if you wanted to join then there was obviously some change you wanted, some lifestyle change that you wanted to. And some of you may have achieved that now. I know some of the people on here tonight have got very good lifestyles. It's always one of these things where as you achieve more, you want to achieve even more. But if you aren't yet achieving the lifestyle that you want, then the question we should be asking ourselves is, what do I need to do? It's not just a case of, well, it may be, but it might not be a case of just putting more catalogues out or posting more things on Facebook. But whatever it is, in order to get your improved lifestyle, you need some results. You need to kind of, earn some income. Usually that's what it's based on. And those results could be orders from your customers. You might want to get more orders. It might be you're wanting to build up a customer base, so that rather than having to blanket drop your catalogues all the time or post in loads and loads of external groups, you want a nice customer base just to make it a lot easier, so you've got a nice income from that customer base. It could be that you want to recruit some team members so that you can build up a residual income, which is, to be honest, for me, it's the most exciting part of the business. So to get that improved lifestyle, whatever that is, you need some results. So that's the kind of the first step, if you like. But getting the results is if you like, the second part of it. What do you need to do in order to get the results? Well, in order to get those results, you need to take some actions. So that could be, you need to deliver the catalogues. You need to be posting on Facebook. You need to be putting in at least 10 to 15 hours a week. You need to be speaking to people about the opportunity. Whatever it is, whatever the results are that you need, the results won't come without you taking some actions. And before you take the actions, you need a good attitude. It's really easy to say, I just don't have time for this, or I'm so busy, or I'm not feeling too well, or there's lots of reasons why you might not take those actions. But if you've got a great attitude, if you've got a positive attitude, which is, well, if they can do it, so can I. I'm going to get out there and get those catalogues out. I don't care if it's raining. I can put my raincoat on. I'm going to speak to all my friends about it, because I know there'll be 2 or 3 of them that would really enjoy doing this. So having that great attitude will encourage you and make sure that you take the actions that you need to take. And your attitude, whether it's a good attitude or a bad attitude, whether it's, whether you're a positive person or whether you tend to be looking on the negative side all the time, it's based on your philosophies on life. Now I'm going to come back to that in a moment, because when I first heard about people saying, what are your philosophies on life? I had no clue what they were talking about. I'd be thinking, well, it'd be quite nice just to get to Friday at 5 o'clock without shooting my boss or something like that, but that wasn't what they meant. But I will come back to that, because philosophies are a really important part. It's kind of your mindset. Another way of thinking of it is a bit like your mindset. So let's just run that back again. If you've got some great philosophies, a really strong mindset, that will give you the right attitude, so that having a great attitude will make sure that you take the actions that you need to take. And if you take the actions, and you keep taking the actions in a consistent and persistent way, then those actions will give you the results, and the results will lead to the lifestyle that you're looking for. So that's just what I was explaining there. A great philosophy will give you a good attitude. Your attitude will encourage you to take all the actions that you need to take. The actions will result in orders and team members and customer base and whatever else you need to give you the lifestyle that you're willing to work for. So how do you get yourself a good philosophy? If a good philosophy is the start of all this, how do you get one? Well, it's a number of different things. So firstly, it's the books that you read. It's, as well as books, you can listen to CDs. It's the people that you associate with. So you can educate yourself using books and CDs and going to meetings, coming to events like this. You're already starting to associate with other like-minded people who are looking to develop themselves. Because that's what this is. This is part of your program of personal development. And who can start a program of personal development? Well, anyone can. Guys, I'm just noticing there's a few people there saying they can't get any sound. I know Jo had a problem earlier and it just turned out to be her settings, I think. You might just need to check the volume on your... There's no point me saying this, is it? Because you can't hear it anyway. Yeah, lots of people can get the sound. Hold on, just with me. Bear with me just a moment, guys. I'm going to put a message in. Trying to put a message in, but it's not letting me. Yeah, okay, thanks very much, Mac. Yeah, volume is low, Joan. Yeah, if somebody could type something in for me, like Mac's done there, just saying check the volume settings, maybe. It might just be that. Okay, thanks, guys. So yes, who can start a program of personal development? Well, anyone can. One of the things that Jim Rohn talks about a lot is that the greatest value in achieving success is not the money you make, it's the person you become. I certainly feel that when I've joined Kleeneze, I had no intention, not that I didn't have an intention, it never crossed my mind that I would need to work on personal development. When I joined Kleeneze, I thought I needed to put loads of catalogues out, speak to lots of people about the business, learn how to train people and things like that. I never thought about my own personal development. But actually, as you achieve more and more success, what you will find is the people who are most successful in this business are the people who have become the sorts of person that people learn from. So that personal development by becoming more yourself is really, really important. So you can start a program of personal development very simply. You can just read 10 pages of a good book every day. So what I mean is, I don't mean Harry Potter. I mean, Harry Potter is a great lot of books, and it's what I would say entertainment, as well as entertainment, kind of candy for the mind, sweets for the mind. You also need some education and inspiration. So I've got some examples of some great books in a moment, but if you just read 10 pages of a good book every day, then even with 115 days off a year, That's still 2,500 pages a year, so that's probably 10 good books. That's a fantastic start on your self-education. If you read 10 good books, you'll be a completely transformed person. I've got a couple of examples in a moment coming up, so if you're not quite sure which books to start. And now, the other thing is, if you're not a great reader, I've got to find quite often, I've got to admit, sorry, when I first started, if I sat down with a book, normally within about 5 or 10 minutes I'd have dozed off. I just didn't have the kind of concentration, if you like. So what you might find is so many books these days you can get on audio CDs, or you can download them onto an MP3 player or something like that. So you could listen to 10 minutes of an audio CD every day while you're driving around, or just kind of sat, having something to eat, or out walking, delivering your catalogues. You can make use of that time. And another point, and we talked earlier about who are the people that you associate with, and there's a great quote here which I think is very, very true. If the 4 people you spend the most time with are broke, you will be the 5th. And that kind of sounds odd, and it's almost as if you're saying, well, I can't just not be friends with all of my friends. But you can start spending time with more successful people who are not broke, because things will rub off. You go to training meetings, you go to webinars, you go to events, you go to workshops, you go to the showcases. You start to learn things from these people who are really, really successful, and you start to want to spend more time learning from them. So you associate more with them, and your success will come along. So the guy's just running a little bit slow this evening. Okay, so there's a few philosophies, a few kind of mindset things that I really like, and hopefully I'll kind of give you a little bit of a feel for what I mean when I'm talking about this. So one of my favorite philosophies is to take responsibility for everything going on in your life. Because if you start to blame someone or something, the circumstances, the weather, or anything like that, you lose the ability to do anything about it. So as a bit of an example, if your boss won't give you a pay rise, you could say, oh, bloody hell, I'm more and more. My boss won't give me a pay rise. I've been in this company for 3 years and I haven't had a pay rise, and it's my boss's fault. So you're blaming your boss or the company. Now, the problem with that is, if you say it's your boss's fault, then the only person who can fix that is your boss. And you can't control what your boss does. So you're totally dependent on somebody else to give you a pay rise. But if instead you say, okay, what do I need to do to get a pay rise? Let me have a chat with my boss. He might say if I had some extra qualifications, or if I learned a bit more about this area, or I had another language, and as I did, take an evening class, you put yourself in a position where you've got more skills. And that would mean 2 things. Either you might then get a promotion and a pay rise in your current job, or if you've got more skills, you might find that you can find another job that pays better because you've got more skills. And the point there is you've taken control of that. You've decided that you can take an evening class to learn more skills. You're not just sat there waiting for your boss to decide that he wants to give you a rise or not. Another thing to do is to avoid, is if you find yourself saying, I don't have time to do that, then the problem with that is everybody and you only have 24 hours in a day. So if you're saying you don't have time, what you're saying is, well, when somebody eventually creates a day with 26 hours, then I might have a spare couple of hours to do things in. But that's never going to happen. So what you're really saying is, okay, I've got these other things to do, and I'm going to choose to spend my time doing these other things. Now, whatever that might be, if you've got a family, then obviously you're going to have other priorities outside of the business. So you can choose to spend your time taking your children to the swimming pool, doing the school run, doing all those really important things. And that's absolutely really important. So you can choose to do that. But then there might be other things like watching telly at night, or going for a beer with your mates, or whatever else it might be, where if you want to, you can say, I'm going to choose to spend my time doing something different instead. So reading a book, or putting my catalogues out, or delivering my orders, or whatever it might be. So don't say, I don't have time for it. Say, I'm choosing to spend my time doing this. And that way you've got control over what you're choosing to do. And the whole point of this is, when you're not blaming someone else or the lack of hours in the day, you've got control over what you do. And that's a lot less stressful when you've got control over what you're doing. Here's another good philosophy which I really like. Success is a few correct decisions repeated every day, and failure is a few small errors in judgment repeated every day. So what I mean by that is, there's a great example of, if you imagine your health, you could say each morning at 11 o'clock you fancy a bit of a snack, so you could either have an apple or a chocolate bar. If you have an apple every day, that won't necessarily make you lose a lot of weight and become healthy the following morning. But if you do that repeated every day compared to eating the chocolate bar every day, then you will gradually lose weight, gradually be healthier, and it's not because of a major decision that you overnight became healthy or wealthy or successful or whatever. It's small things that you do every day that make a massive difference. And that's reflected in, as well as your health, it could be from your business. So if we just look at Kleeneze, for example, every day you could choose to put out 50 catalogues. You could deliver 50 catalogues a day, collect 50 catalogues from the previous couple of days, or you could make sure, if you're looking to recruit a team, that you put up 2 business cards every day, or 2 shop cards, or 2 Facebook adverts, or you speak to 2 of your friends on your warm list every day. They're not difficult to do, but equally they're not difficult not to do. It's easy just to say, oh well, I won't bother then. Equally, you could read 10 pages of a good book, or you could choose not to read 10 pages of a good book. If you make the correct decisions, then success will come as a result of repeatedly doing this every day. So I really like that philosophy, because it kind of makes you feel you don't have to just make one massive cataclysmic decision. You just make a few correct decisions every day and you will be successful. And the last point here, and this is I think a great one for our business, help enough people get what they want out of life, and you can have anything that you want out of life. So the things there that we're talking about are kind of mindset things. They're not, sort of, if you do this, everything will be fine. If you do that, everything will be wrong. It's just kind of getting your mind around changing the way you think about things. And that will give you a lot of positive things happening in your life. Now, I mentioned earlier about reading 10 pages of a good book every day. And so the best thing I would recommend you do is speak to your sponsor, because obviously if your sponsor knows you, they can recommend books that would be great for you at this time or this point in your business. But if you're not sure and you just want a quick pointer, then I've got a couple of books here I'm just going to recommend. So Jim Rohn is one of my favourites, a fantastic guy, sadly passed away a few years ago. But there's a CD called Building Your Network Marketing Business, which is I think it was my first personal development CD that I got, and it just sat in my car for months and months and months, just listening to it over and over again. Every time I listened to it, I got more out of it. So that's a great one to get started on. And if you prefer a book to read, then this is another good one, 7 Strategies for Wealth and Happiness. And again, a really great book. It just kind of, they're not specifically about Kleeneze, but they're about setting goals, how to achieve things, and how to invest a little bit of your money every month. And it's Jim Rohn really that encouraged me to start thinking about life philosophy. So most of what you'll hear me talking about in terms of your philosophies of life are based on stuff I've learned from Jim Rohn. A couple of other books here. The last one there, when I talked about it's the small decisions that you make every day, are based on these 2 books. There's one called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, and another one called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. They're great books, and they're both, the gist of them is basically, it's not the big decisions, it's the little ones that you make every day. And then 3 more, if you've already looked at a few of those that I mentioned at the beginning there. There's one by Dale Carnegie called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a bit of an odd title, but it's a really, really great book. And the gist of it is, if you're nice to people, it's amazing what you get in return. If you take an interest in them, rather than just talking about yourself, then it's amazing what things will come back to you. There's another book by Darren Hardy. Darren Hardy is another author and speaker that I really like. He's written a book called Design Your Best Year Ever. And it's basically a workbook. So it's not just something that you read. You kind of write down in it. You write down your goals, break them down into monthly targets, and then kind of weekly activities, daily steps. It's a great way to kind of break down big, scary goals into kind of daily activities. And then the last one here, this is one of my favourites, The Chimp Paradox by Steve Peters. Dr. Steve Peters was a guy who worked with the British Olympic track cycling team, and was responsible for, in a lot of ways, for the success, turning them into kind of enthusiastic amateurs to the professionals that you know today. And the gist of what he says is, it's really important to understand your brain, how it works, and how to deal with unhelpful emotions. So for athletes, they often got really tense and stressed out when they were going to be on the day of a big event or a big competition, who were worried about their competitors and so on. And so they almost froze, and they didn't achieve what they know they can achieve every day in training. And it's a little bit like that with us. You might not be an Olympic athlete, but every day when you've got work to do in the business and you're wanting to do things, and if you feel a bit frustrated or nervous or scared about making that phone call or whatever, if you understand how your brain is, why your brain is behaving in that way, and how you can overcome those worries, it's really, really powerful. So that's a great book as well. Oh, sorry guys. So my best advice to you, if you're not already doing personal development, is to make a start today. This webinar is too short, as I've said there, to create a program for you, but I hope, hopefully, it's kind of inspired you to at least make a start. You know, go buy one of those books and start reading it, or an audio CD, or just watch stuff on YouTube. There's so much free stuff on YouTube now. Go onto YouTube, do a search for Jim Rohn or Darren Hardy, Steve Peters. There's loads of great stuff on there that you can kind of get at anytime you want. So I hope it inspires you all. If anybody wants any more detail on any of those books or any of those authors or speakers, please let me know. I'm happy to kind of share with you what I do know about them. So that was number 8, personal development. Next week we go all the way back to the beginning again, and we're talking about getting started. But as I said earlier, you don't have to wait. You know, if you wanted to look at a one on team members or a bit about goals and attitude, these are all recorded, so I'll show you where the recordings are in just a moment. So you don't have to wait for, as I say, 5, 6, 7 weeks till we get to that point. You can just go and watch the recordings. It's definitely a little bit slow tonight, I'm not sure why. Here we go. You can find all the recordings on YouTube. If you just go onto YouTube and do a search for Chris Smith Kleeneze, they're all on there. This one will be up there. I normally put them up the following morning, so this will be up there tomorrow morning, kind of not desperately early, but you know, reasonably early, sometime in the morning. Feel free to subscribe to that channel, because then obviously every time I put a new video up there, you'll get a little notification. So feel free to do that if you'd like to. Okay guys, I'm just going to turn off tonight's recording.